Speaking of going who goes where, let's go to the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, where we find the recent recipient of the 500 Club, Poland basketball head coach Ken Grisdale. Coach, congratulations.
Thanks, Ron. I appreciate it.
Now, I don't want to date you or anything, but, your first year at Poland High School was my first year doing high school basketball before I left the area to do minor league baseball and then came back. So we've both been around the block for a few years.
Man, are we old.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you actually had hair on your head, and it wasn't gray when you started out. Did you envision in any way, shape, or form that in your first year that you would have been there for 28 years and 500 victories? Did you have any idea how much of an impact you would be as a coach when you were first hired at Poland?
I did not. In the beginning, it was day by day. I thought I knew something. I got the job. We lose our first 3 games, and I'm like, holy smokes, what am I doing here? Fortunately, we got our 4th game. We played at JFK, and we won. Had a decent season and constantly build it, but I would have never, I know I was a lifer at Poland as a teacher, and, I wanted to coach. Just you never know how long your stint as a head coach is going to go because there's a lot of variables that can negatively impact you.
Ken Grisdale joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. I did some numbers. Now, assuming, and by the way, this is not going to happen, and I'm surely not wanting to jinx you, but if you don't win another game this year, do you realize you have to average 17.86 victories a year over 28 years to get to 500 victories? Coach, that 17-plus wins a year over 28 years, that's a remarkable statistic, and it's just a testament to how solid a coach you have been at Poland High School.
Thank you. And, it's more than just me. You can go back and look at early years, great assistants. Brian Nord was my assistant. He was an amazing coach. Tom Fender followed up. And we all know, Tom Fender was a pretty darn good coach. And then when Tom left to go with Eric to Springfield, Chad Fender stepped in, and then Nico Fatimas. Then now we're back to Chad, and Eric is back in Poland. But, you don't do it by yourself. You need great assistants, and most importantly, you need great players and parents. And I've been blessed with that over the years.
You've got an impressive coaching tree. I mean, we sit back on the professional level, and you hear about the Belichick coaching tree. Here's the Andy Reid coaching tree. Let's go on the high school level. You got a pretty impressive coaching tree. Some of your assistant coaches have gone on, and they've done a pretty remarkable job elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm really proud of them, and I'm really proud by the fact that probably the last 15 years or so, all of my assistants have been former players. That have left and have gone to college, either came back and went into education, or they have a job and they still want to spend time in the program. And, to have that's amazing. And the guys that have branched out, like Eric Fender branched out on his own and, won close to 200 ball games. We've been very fortunate, but I also want to mention John Cullen's coaching tree. I'm from there. And, the impact that John Cullen has had on coaches in this area and still on players in this area has been immense.
Well, I was going to say, if you talk about John Cullen's coaching tree, that bad boy is one of those 500-year-old oak trees that's about 1 million miles north and about 50 miles wide. He has left an imprint, to say the least, on high school basketball in the area.
Unbelievable man and unbelievable love for the game and a great teacher of the game.
How proud are you, I should say, of the fact that most of the assistants that are under your tutelage are former Poland players? I mean, that has to speak for what you accomplished as a coach and the imprint that you gave your assistant coaches to have them want to come back and coach for you at Poland.
No, it's amazing, and the impact that it has on especially our young kids. To watch those guys play, and then in the next year or two, they're helping at their level, and it makes everything worth it. And I'm not the easiest guy to play for at times. I'm very driven. I'm a perfectionist. perfectionist, but and I'm going to push you. But then guys that want to come back and be part of it, I think they understood and saw the big picture, that although he could be a pain in the butt at times, he really had our best interest in mind, and he really wanted us to have the best experiences we possibly could have.
What do you tell a up-and-coming coach? If there's one piece of advice that you would give to someone who is just breaking into coaching or is in their first year of coaching, hoping to do this long-term, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give?
That's kind of funny you ask. I was part of the football selection committee, and we have been doing interviews, and one of the candidates asked me, if I could go back and change anything or this or that. You asked a few questions, really good. But the thing that I would tell a young coach, and I told this young person in the interview, I would tell you to step back and enjoy what you're doing. Try to live more in the moment. One of my regrets is I'm very obsessed in the sense of, this has to get done now, and I don't always enjoy it. After the 500th win, I was very, very happy, but I was also very distraught from the game in a way. I wasn't pleased with the way we executed in certain circumstances, and it took me about 2-3 hours to just unwind. Well, actually, when they hit me with the cold ice bucket after it started, but it's just to unwind and enjoy it. There are so many good things that happen, so many memories that you really should enjoy while they're going on, rather than look back and say, "Man, that was so great." And that would be my advice to a young coach: live more in the moment. Enjoy the moment, because you aren't guaranteed anymore.
There's Lombardi in you, and I say that in the sense of, for as great a coach as Vince Lombardi was, he was someone that could never really celebrate the moment because his mind was always 1 week ahead. So you'd have a certain amount of time to celebrate the victory, but you knew at some point in time, I got to get ready and I got to get my team ready for the next game, so I'm not going to be celebrating all that much for this game. You get a lot of Lombardi in you in that regard.
Yeah, it's funny, just the overwhelming texts and on Facebook and things where people were congratulating, but a lot of my players, but Jake Wolf, who graduated in 2015, he wanted to congratulate me, and he said, he goes, I know you're already watching film and drawing up the next out-of-bounds play for your upcoming game on Friday. And it was funny. It wasn't an out-of-bounds play. It was actually, a zone play that, I saw, that we could have used against Jefferson Tuesday, but we didn't. So my mind was already there. And I enjoy it, and I really do it, and I like it at the end the most. When I sit back and I look, but I really wish I could relax a little bit more in the moment. But I am who I am, and it works for me.
How interested are you right now as we look at the supersized district? How far along are you with preparations for the tournament, if you are at all? I mean, are you just looking at, okay, we'll wait until we get the draw and we wait till we get the seed? Or are you even looking at the teams wondering, all right, we can beat these guys, we can beat these guys might pose a problem? Are you already looking down this list and determining who you have a really good shot at?
Honestly, no. Again, I'm always looking to the next game. I know we play Jefferson again tonight, and we play Liberty tomorrow. I haven't even started on Liberty other than to gather films. Tonight on the bus ride home, I'll be watching that, and we'll have a walkthrough in the morning. I have a vision. I have an idea who's there, and it's kind of neat, the new idea they're going with. But to me, tomorrow is the most important day, and tomorrow's the most important game. And if I'm not focused on it, I can't prepare my kids to give them the best chance.
I can give you the teams right now because I got them in front of me, Coach.
Yeah.
Listen, this is Poland year in and year out has just been such an amazing program. And like I said, you got to average 17-plus wins a year over 28 years to get to 500 wins. And a lot of people will sit back and go, man, the varsity program, man, this is pretty incredible. But you and I both know in order to have success on the varsity level, you have to have success way behind the varsity level and get kids in the third grade, second and third grade, interested in playing basketball. How important has it been and gratifying has it been for you in your 28 years to develop a youth program that has given you success once they get into the high school?
You know, that's where it all starts. I mean, you said it, it's the foundation. And fortunately, over the years, I've had some really great people on my staff, like Tom Fender. Right now, my wife, who is in the girls program, but she runs camps in the summer. We have kindergarten through eighth grade camps going the whole month of June. And, I have all my kids involved, and, it's so fun to watch, some of these guys. Like the last year that just graduated was the first year that we did the kindergarten camp. And to just close my eyes and imagine and visualize those kids when they were little and how far they came from when they were in kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade. It's just a lot of fun, and you build that continuity. And if you want to succeed, you need to start young. You need to get your verbiage in and your concepts. You need to connect your young people to your older people. I probably have not done as good a job of that of late, but that was really the part that that really got us rolling.
Ken Grisdale, the latest recipient of the 500 Win Club, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. In the 99 years of high school football in the state of Ohio, there's only been a select few coaches that have gotten 500 wins. It's got to be gratifying as all get out to be one of those coaches, one of those very few coaches that have achieved this level of greatness.
Well, I don't look at it that I don't look at it. I mean, it's a great accomplishment. I know I'm going to be more and more appreciative as I go, but it's about so much more than me. I'm glad my name's on it, but the fact of the matter, the people that have been around that have helped build it, the players, this is as much for them as it is for me. It's don't get me wrong. I love it and I'm happy, but I want it to be for everybody that has had a hand in it.
A pretty spectacular week of basketball in the Grisdale family. Your daughter Jackie became the all-time leading scorer in Poland history in girls basketball, and then you pick up your 500th career victory, and it was supposed to happen on the same day. Is it kind of a blessing that you both got to share your honor in a different day, where Jackie had the space to herself on Saturday, becoming Poland's all-time leading scorer, and then on Tuesday night you got your 500th victory? Did it work out better that way, Coach?
Yeah, my wife and I and Jackie had talked about it that last week prior, and we thought, it'd be kind of neat for us to do it on the same day. But looking back, it was perfect. She deserved all the spotlight that she received, and then let her bask in it and not have to look at me, being there the same night. So I definitely think it worked out, better for both of us, especially her.
Okay, now I got to put you on the spot here for a second. And obviously you've been a tremendous success as a basketball coach, and Jackie has been a tremendous success on the floor. If you had to coach against your daughter, how would you be able to set up a defense that would slow her down?
Well, I guess what I would say, and I don't want to put any ideas in people's minds, but what I would do is very much like what we would do against, a star player. I'm not going to let her beat us. If I'm going to lose, she's not going to be the one. And I would design my defenses around forcing other people to make the shots and make the plays. And fortunately, right now, her team has come a long, long way. Early on in the season, I think, the way that I would have defended her is a lot different than I would now, because other people have really developed, and she does a really nice job of involving other people, so they get confidence. So when they're the one being left open because they want to go double her, that they're hitting shots, and it punishes people for doing it.
You bring up something really interesting, and I've been talking an awful lot about this. And again, it's no secret I left the area to pursue minor league baseball, and when I came back home about 9 years ago, I had left this area in the late 90s. Basketball was still at a pretty reasonably high level, both in the boys and the girls. And I came back home about 9 years ago, and basketball was not nearly as good as when I left the area. But over the last 5-6 years, the game of basketball in the Mahoning Valley has become a very good product again. Dare I say, this year, I think we're going to finally make some serious inroads in terms of getting our teams to play better than just competitive against out-of-town teams. I think we'll do a really, really good job, especially in the districts and regionals against out-of-town opponents. I think our basketball has improved that much. Talk a little bit about how the game has once again become a solid staple in the Mahoning Valley again.
Yeah, I just think, and when you look over time, it's cyclical. I think there's some population issues that have changed. And I think, I've gone through years where, the talent pool just isn't what it was. Right now we're going through, a really athletic group, maybe not great basketball players, but really an athletic group. And I think some other schools are as well. I think the coaches are working really, really hard. I think you have some young minds out there that are changing the way the game is now being played from where it was 10 years ago. And I think that, a lot of tournament comes down to luck of the draw. A couple years, the first year we made it to state was a perfect example, and I think it was 2002. We hit the regionals, hit a regional that was really good for us. It gave us a chance. Because I remember back in '96, you might remember that team. That might have been one of the best teams I ever had. And we're going to the Akron Regional. And the first game we're going to play is against Orville, the defending state Division III champion. And if you beat Orville, you got to play St. Joe's, who was the defending Division II state champion. That's a pretty loaded region. So I think, again, things go cyclical. I think luck of the draw, where you get to go. I mean, I've always found, and this is kind of probably weird to say, but I've found the regionals in many ways a lot easier than some of the districts we've been in because of the familiarity that other teams don't have with us. We're not an easy program to defend, and if you don't see one like us, it's a lot harder unless, again, you're just superior when it comes to your athletes.
Well, and I think one of the other reasons why the regional might be a little bit easier in recent years, good God, that Boardman district the last few years has been a meat grinder.
Yes, definitely has.
Ken Grisdale joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. It wasn't a huge surprise that you announced while you got your 500th victory in the moments after, as the members of the media were celebrating or peppering you with questions, that you announced that this would be your last year. This was it. I think it was pretty obvious to a lot of us that once Jackie graduated from high school, you were going to go and watch your daughter play college. As we go forward into the future, how difficult is it going to be for you, now a former head basketball coach, to be in the stands and to watch your daughter play as a parent but not a coach?
I don't think it's going to be real hard, Ron, because I've always as a parent with Jackie, I've always been dad. I try not to be coach. She comes home from games, we talk about other things. If she wants to talk about the game, we'll talk about it. If she asks me the next day, hey, what did you see? I'm going to tell her. I mean, I don't think it's going to change. Whatever college she ends up going to, I'm going to put my trust into that person that, they're going to know what they're doing, and they're going to do the best job, and it's her job to listen to them and learn from them. I just want to be dad. I don't want to be coach. I've tried hard over the years not to be the coach of things she's in, because I've seen dads who have been coaches, and I've seen relationships that have, I don't want to say destroyed, but have been hindered, because of that, because those are two different roles. And I want to be a great dad first.
Ken Grisdale joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Couple more things before we let you go, Coach. First and foremost, is your team starting to peak at the right time as we're 3 weeks away from the tournaments? I made mention before we put you on the air. Next Sunday will be the seeds and the draw for the Supersize Division II tournament, and next Monday, 1 week from Monday, we'll have all kinds of fun breaking down the tournaments. Is your team starting to become tournament ready as we close up shop in the regular season?
I think we're getting close. Everything this year has been delayed. Because of COVID, because of football playoffs, soccer playoffs, everything we've had, a 14-day dead period. I think we're close. I don't think we're there. I still think we're probably a week to 2 weeks away from, really getting it the way we need to, which for me that's fine because that means you're right knocking on the door of the tournament, and that's where you want to be.
As I look at the list of teams that are in the Supersize Division II tournament, it's a lot of very talented teams on this list. Is Poland capable of getting a deep run where they win a district or get into a district championship game this year?
I definitely believe so. I think number one, when things gel completely, and I think I have one of the best coaches in the area in Chad Fender. Chad does a great job, and we're gonna, defensively, and we're gonna probably have to be a little more tactical than we have been during the season thus far. But I'll throw our hat in the ring anytime.
Before I let you go, I got to ask because, this is the last roundup with Coach Grisdale. This will be 28 years at Poland High School. If I were to sit back and ask you to give me a starting lineup from your 28 years of coaching at Poland High School, give me 5 guys or just give me 2 or 3 guys off the top of your head that would be in your starting 5 without any question in your 28 years of coaching at Poland.
Ron, I wish I could do that. I would hate to offend any one of those guys because everyone had a role or did different things. So I don't even want to venture down that road. If I had to list, I'd list every kid that ever played for me because they were special, and I just can't do that.
Man, it sounds like you're trying to run for state senator for the Senate in Ohio. Come on now.
No, I love every one of them, and every one of them brought something different to the table. Over the years, people have asked me. I honestly can't because they played against different competition. They played against different styles. In a couple of years, we were averaging 90 points a game. We've had years where we've averaged 35 a game, but we still had great players at that point in time. So, love them all, and they're all my all-stars.
When your career comes to an end, if a high school basketball coach asked you, "Hey, can you sit in on a practice? Can I use you as a guest instructor?" Is that something that you would be comfortable doing, or once the coaching career is over, once basketball season is over, you're stepping away from it and you're becoming you're going to be involved in Jackie's collegiate career and as a fan, as a father? Are you going to completely step away from high school basketball, or would you be willing to at least sit in on a practice and give some pointers to prospective coaches if they invited you?
I would love to help other people. One of the you don't get where you are by yourself, and the people that I have had an opportunity to sit down and talk with, going back to Tom Titus when I played, John Cullen, Tony Archibald, Bob Martinko, Tom Fender. You go down the line. There's so many people that I have learned from that I would welcome at any time to sit down and talk basketball with somebody. I guess the only time I wouldn't do it is if I had to be at Jackie's game. But no, I would love to do that. And Kim and I were talking the other day. Who knows? When Jackie's done, maybe we'll do it again. Maybe she and I will get a team and do it again. I mean, I'm not done with coaching. Coaching's too much of my life. But the coaching at Poland for the next 4 years is going to be, it's done. I need to be around Jackie.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I'll let you go on this comment. I've watched high school basketball for north of 45 years, and if I were to put a Mount Rushmore of coaches together, you're on that list, kiddo.
Wow, what an honor. Thank you.
Congratulations on everything that you've done, and hopefully in a perfect world, you get an extended ending in the tournament, Coach.
I appreciate so much. Thank you.
You got it. Ken Grisdale, he is the head basketball coach of the Poland Bulldogs. We're going to take a time out. On the other side, we'll open up the phone lines. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813.